Let's talk about slow times in small business. I found this post the other day and I just wanted to share it with you because it has some perspectives from both the customer and the small business owner. So we can go through it, check out and see what everyone's saying about business being slow right now. We'll check out what reasons they give for why they think it's slow. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give some advice on how to prepare for slow times so that you can be in the best possible position for your business. So let's check it out. This poster says, I'm curious to know, am I alone in this observation? As the owner of a small plumbing business, I've seen a pronounced 75% decrease in service sales compared to last year. We've traditionally enjoyed an outstanding reputation among our clientele. Are other female entrepreneurs in similar situations experiencing comparable concerns? This person replies, the economy is slowing down and people are not spending money like they were. It's part of the business cycle. I tend to agree that the economy is slowing down in some ways and people are not spending like they were before because everything's gone up. So we don't have as much money to spend on things that we want to get done in our house. So I think that makes sense. This person says that she's been in business for over 40 years and only 2008 and COVID times were this bad. This responder says that she's been in business for 39 years and the signs are there and have been there for over a year. More tradespeople are getting laid off and are starting their own businesses. They have no idea of the cost behind running a business, and some will succeed, but a lot won't because they're doing the jobs for too little. When people get laid off and then they go to start their own business, it is true. Some will succeed and some won't, and some will get back into other jobs and some won't. But I don't ever see people leaving the trade and then going to start on their own as a bad thing. I see it as a good thing, people taking control of their lives and their future. So I encourage that. However, it is true that if you charge too little and you don't stay competitive, both looking up and looking down, then you won't stay in business long because you won't cover your expenses if you don't charge enough. This responder says, we are about to enter another recession, most likely. They've been talking about that for like 2 years. So are we in a recession or not? Well, this lady says, I have news for you. We have been in a recession. Once they talk about it on the news, it's been going on for 6 to 12 months. They don't talk about it until they have to. And this lady agrees. You're likely right. Sources online have been saying it's coming, and they've been saying that since a certain person took office again. Okay, well, I probably won't get too deep into politics here. We'll just move on to the next one. Okay, so this response is interesting, and it's a good feedback for us people in the service world who are providing services to the general public. This person says, from my personal experience, I recently called 3 plumbers to get quotes on replacing a toilet that I had already bought. Labor alone was about $500 for all 3 companies for a job that takes 30 to 45 minutes. So we ultimately replaced it ourselves. The price was so astronomical, it deterred me from hiring someone. I understand pricing going up everywhere, but this was ridiculous. Had the price been more reasonable, I would have hired a company to do the work. So I do think that pricing can get to the point where it reaches the ceiling, that it's more than the market can bear. And in this case, for this lady, it was more than she could bear. So they went ahead and figured out how to do it on their own, which I think a lot of people are doing nowadays to save money. I've done it. We've been doing that for years. Any kind of service that can be done yourself, maybe not as good as the professionals do it, but at least it gets you by. I can see how a lot of customers would be turning toward that right now in an economy that's getting really expensive for them. This person agrees. She said, we did all the work, but needed help getting the new toilet on and didn't have the right tools to keep the toilet from rocking back and forth. We were charged $395 and it took them not even 15 minutes. Prices are just too high for simple jobs. Now, yeah, as a small business owner, I have the perspective of both sides because I'm a customer, of course, because I'm a human being living and I have a home and everything to take care of. So I understand that perspective. I also understand the business owner's perspective that there's a lot that the government asks of us too. There's a lot of expenses that we're required to pay for. Just to exist, just to accept one paying customer, we have to pay for a lot up front. And there's all kinds of costs that the customers might not necessarily be aware of, but that does have to be rolled into what you charge a customer, or else you're not a business, you are volunteering. This person says, I feel like all the industries across the board are slowing down. I'm in the beauty industry and I've definitely been feeling it for the first time since COVID ended. This person says, It is not just you. Many business owners are struggling right now. This is a really great time for locals to support other locals. The good news, season is coming. We might not be able to get reservations at our favorite restaurant, but we'll have business, lol. So that's another consideration of business is the seasonality. So a lot of places will have a different high season than the next. Like say if you're in Florida, probably your high season is the winter and your slow season is going to be the summer. But that might be flipped if you're in Canada. She says, I will say that my hubby will always try to YouTube any issues that arise in our home or with our cars and try to fix it himself before he ever pays someone to fix it. Any repair or fix these days is unaffordable. Also, we have a lot of friends in different industries, and if he can't figure out the car issue, for example, he'll reach out to our neighbor that's a car mechanic, and he can usually point him in the right direction. Same with friends in the plumbing, electrical, etc. industries. So this comment highlights a great rule of thumb. So I am definitely big on DIY, doing things yourself, learning and developing yourself so that you can do things on your own, so you're not stuck in a bad economy, being trapped into paying professionals to do things that if you develop some skills you could do on your own. And I think that her comment about the networking with, say, neighbors and friends is a good one, because whether or not they do this job themselves, the money stays in the local economy, and money in the local economy is crucial to the health of strong, small local businesses like the one that we run, for example. This lady agrees. We own a handyman and pressure washing company. The year has been so slow for us as well, and we're usually booked out. People just aren't spending money, but let's hope with season it changes for us all. So yeah, she's waiting for the busy season to come along and hoping it turns around. This lady is a nail technician, and she says this year has been by far the worst. My clientele has decreased tremendously to the point that I've explored getting another job and doing nails on the side. It's not sustainable for me anymore. And as much as I hate to say it, there have been times, especially when our business was new and it was still unsteady, and I didn't necessarily trust that it was going to take off and be able to sustain our family. I held on to the fact that either of us could go back to a job. That's going to be the reality for some people, is that they may have to step away from their business as a full-time thing, convert it to a side gig, and go find a job to get them through the rougher times. I'd rather see someone go and get a job and do their business as a side gig again than I would see them completely give up and just go back to working full-time, because I think that when you work for yourself, you reap greater benefits long-term. And that's in money and self-empowerment, and that's in control of your own life. And this person responds, we're doing our nails at home now. It's way too expensive to go to the salons. That was the first luxury I cut out. A lot of services that we hire out are what many consider to be a luxury. So in the handyman world, that might mean that people are putting off projects and fixes and maintenance around their house because they just don't have the expendable income at the moment. This lady says, I do the same. I sometimes go to the nail salon if I can afford it, but my daughter bought all the stuff on Amazon and does my gel pedicure, and I do my own manicures, and it looks just as good. So there you go. This person's telling it like it is. She says, we're just broke and have to DIY everything or learn to live with it. And that's the truth. That's the truth. In this economy or any economy, there's going to be a large section of people who just say, you know what, I don't have the money for this. And what this lady says is true. The costs of living have gone up a lot. Housing, food, insurance, childcare. People are focusing on their basic needs and not spending money on extras. It's very true. I have felt it too. It still feels more tight than it did a few years back. This lady offers a glimmer of hope and optimism in her response. She says, it will go back up eventually, ladies. I hope all of us will be able to hold on to our business until the economy goes up again. Let's support each other as much as we can, and we should make it through. Local families supporting each other makes a better and stronger community. Amen. Thanks for that comment. So I don't want to leave you off with some gloom and doom picture of what's going on right now, acting like there's nothing we can do about it, because there is. There's things we can do to prepare for the slow times, and things we can do when we're in slow times to at least be able to hold out until it picks back up again. So I think one of the number one things we can do to prepare for slow times that we know will come is to save during the good times. And that might seem obvious, like no crap. But a lot of businesses, what they do is they have these incredible months where they're making, like five figures in a month. And then they just think it's always going to be like that if they have a few consecutive months like that. And then, the season changes, the economy shifts, or something goes on with the competition, or a new law comes in, and then all of a sudden that changes and goes back way down. So a good rule of thumb is to save and keep expenses on hand for the business. Prepare for the bigger expenses that you know your business is going to have, like insurance renewals and taxes. During the good months, you should be setting a lot of money for that aside, getting ready for that, and maybe future equipment purchases, vehicle purchases as well. You want to squirrel away money so you have a bit of a security blanket if the times are slow. Another way to prepare for slow times in business is to market to high quality clients in the first place. Don't market your business as the cheapest out there. Market it to clients who have the resources to pay the mid range price or the mid to high price for an exceptional job, and then do an exceptional job. As you build trust, you're going to have more regular clients, and those regular clients who use you anytime they have an issue, those people are going to carry you through a recession type situation. They care the most about quality, communication, presentation over price, or alongside of a competitive price, a fair price. That's not to say that money is no object for this type of client, but for some people, if they know the job is going to be done right and that they can trust who's coming to their door, then they're not going to be out there shopping around and price comparing prior to hiring you again. Some regulars that are also good to have is realtors. Realtors who sell a lot of homes will have a lot of home inspections going on. And of course, the inspector will find a list of things that need attending to. So if you have a few realtors that know you do good work, then you'll get repeat business from them again and again, no matter what the economy's like. And if you're going to do regular work for realtors, you're going to want to make sure that your communication is on point, that you're responding quickly, that you are reliable, you're showing up when you say you will, that you're getting things done and getting everything checked off the list by the condition date. And another thing that can help in slow times is if you have built partnerships and collaborations with other tradespeople, other people in the same or similar business, where you can refer clients to them that you can't help, and they can refer clients to you who they can't help. So we get a lot of work from another handyman who just doesn't want to do some of the type of jobs that come his way. He's semi-retired and he's only interested in doing like a list of five different things. So anything outside of that simple list of five things, he passes those customers along to us. And that's been a really great relationship that we've built with him over that time. His customers like it because they still get a solution to their problem, and we like it because we get an extra bit of work from him. There's some work that we are not qualified to do, such as electrical. We're not allowed to do electrical type of work. So when we get those type of requests from our clients, we have a electrician that we pass those clients along to. They get their service fulfilled, and we've still solved a problem for our customer, and that reflects well on our business. Now, as always, being a DIYer in business myself, I'm always on the side of doing all the free advertising that you can, whether that be on Facebook in groups. And currently, we're still getting work from posting our business card on sites like Nextdoor. It doesn't cost anything to post it there. It doesn't cost anything to have a profile, and we get quite a bit of work that way. As a DIYer, I tend to steer clear of paid ads. If you've had a different experience, I'm definitely open to hearing about your experience with paid ads and things like Thumbtack and paying for leads, something that we do not do. Not to say that those companies don't provide value to their clients. I don't know if they do or not. Maybe if you have an experience, you could talk about it in the comments below. And if you have another idea for how companies can continue to get by when times are slow, then drop it in the comments and I can make another video about it. Also, if you have any questions for me, if you put them in the comments, I will answer. And thanks for coming by. Check out some of my other videos about DIYing your small business. Have a good day.